How's it going, everybody? And welcome back to the channel. Today is November 1st and it was 21 degrees out this morning. So we are right on the edge of ice fishing season and I am super excited to get out on the ice and make some more ice fishing content for you guys. Today we are going to be installing a brand new Garmin live scope unit on the HDI Shuttle. So just a full disclaimer, none of these products were sent to me. There's no discount codes, I didn't get a discount. They didn't reach out and send me anything, nothing like that. I ordered this stuff online, just like anybody else would. So I'm not near there in the YouTube world yet, that is for darn sure. So the main thing that we're going to be checking out today is this new HD or HDI Shuttle. So instead of ordering the full Garmin live scope kit with the pole and the bag and the shuttle and everything from Garmin, I talked to some buddies that have had live scope or have live scope, and they kind of advised that you purchase everything individually, kind of customize it to what you want, and you end up paying, you know, the same, maybe a little bit more, but you get a much nicer setup at the end of it. So what I ended up deciding to go with, again on their advice, I went and got the, I want to make sure I get these things right. So this is the LVS 34 transducer, which is Garmin's, I believe it to be their newest, latest and greatest transducer. We went with the 106 SV for the head unit. So it's the 10-inch screen, the newer one. It's supposed to have faster processing speed and a little bit better readout. It's the touch screen. So I'm pretty excited about that. And then, again, the HDI Shuttle, we went with the Amped Outdoors 32 amp hour, and this is the NMC battery. So this is supposed to be more power, shorter charge times, a little bit smaller form factor from what I understand. They had a bunch of options on the website. I ordered everything with I ordered the Garmin and the transducer from Bass Pro Shop. They were the ones that had it in stock. And I ordered the HDI, everything else from HDI. I also ordered their pole, which we'll be checking out as well. So the only thing that I don't have from them yet, and they haven't come out with it yet, or it's not available to purchase yet, is their shuttle bag. So I am going to be ordering that as soon as it's available. As soon as I get it in, I will do a video for you guys and we'll check that out as well. But again, I am not sponsored by these guys at all. They have no idea who I am other than my ordering information. So I'm going to give you a full review on this. Now, I own and operate a marine dealership or repair center, boat repair center. I've installed hundreds and hundreds of these units before, not necessarily Garmin live scope and never on a shuttle like this, but Garmin, Lowrance, Humminbird, in boat, set them up, get everything networked and working. So I've got a lot of experience with wiring and connecting things, so I'll be able to give you guys a full review on my opinion, at least, on how this guy here is built and, you know, if it seems to be a quality product or not. So let's get the table cleared off, get stuff unboxed, and let's start putting this together. All right, let's go in and tear into the shuttle here. So one thing that has me a little bit nervous is the box came open, not taped together, and from the video I watched of the owner here at HDI putting this unit together, this is supposed to come in like a little plastic bag inside. Mine didn't, so I don't care as long as I'm not missing anything, but that's worth noting. So here's the shuttle itself. Nothing else in the box except looks like we got some stickers. Well, everybody likes a good sticker. So here's the shuttle itself. Now it's got, the reason I chose this one is it's got a big chunky round handle. And from what I understand is these units get pretty heavy, and after, you know, lifting and moving around the boxes, I can see, and at the end of the video I will do a weight on the full setup, just so you guys know. Everybody knows live scope is big and chunky and kind of clunky, but you hope it's worth it, right? So the cool thing about this is it's got a quick open access door. The reason I chose it, I should say, It's got a quick open access door to get to your battery, wiring, fuses, and all that if you should have an issue or want to change out batteries. It's got a USB charger in the front. It's got a quick access charge port to plug in your charger to charge up your lithium battery. It's got quick disconnects, and it comes with a UV glow light. So I don't know how much I'd really necessarily use that, but maybe quite a bit. We'll find out. But again, so let's tear into it here and kind of get our first impressions. First thing here, we're gonna go ahead and cut the zip tie that holds our parts bag. The good thing is that's still zip tied on, and just from a quick glance, it looks like everything is in there. So I don't think we're gonna have any issues with missing parts and pieces, but if we do, we'll just reach out to them and get whatever we're missing. So that's the Shuttle. Nothing really more to say on that right now until we start putting it together. Again, here's our parts bag. It's got a tiny little screwdriver. Oh, the other thing I like about this Shuttle versus some of the others is it comes with these pole holders that we'll install later, but that mount on this track system that has the pole holder built right into it versus other brands that's an add-on accessory or they don't even offer it. So I thought that was kind of cool. So the next thing we're going to tear into here is the most exciting part in my opinion, and that's the actual Garmin unit itself. Now, I debated between going with the 10-inch screen and the 12-inch screen, and the reason I went with the 10-inch, just to be honest, is everyone's got to draw the line somewhere, and price point was a big deal. This setup is already quite expensive, as you guys probably can imagine, and the 12-inch screen was another $500 just to gain a couple inches of screen. The other reason I like the 10-inch, it will be a little bit better on battery life, as well as just a little bit smaller form factor for carrying around and hauling. So honestly though, it was the 500 bucks. I already kind of sprung for more expensive stuff like the battery, so that was why. So let's go ahead and tear into this and find everything we're gonna need. The other thing I did grab that I watched a video and was told I was gonna need is a 32 gig SD card. Now, I don't know why. I guess it's for the Active Captain. Not exactly sure, to be honest. I'm very familiar with Garmin, or not Garmin, but Lowrance and Humminbird electronics. Garmin stuff I've installed some, but not a ton. So it's a little learning curve for me as well. So it comes with an awesome screen protector, which is sweet because some of the other brands don't. And here is the main head unit itself. So it comes in this nice foam packaging. And again, this is a 10-inch screen. It's got the touch screen and the quick keys off to the side. So we'll see. I'm excited about it. And I think it's going to look pretty awesome sitting on this Shuttle. I like, now that I'm kind of eyeballing this here, that the width of this screen is almost the exact width of the Shuttle, which I think is really neat. It kind of makes it look like it's meant to be here, which is something I always strive to do anytime I'm doing any rigging in a boat or whatever it is, to make it look like it's supposed to, like it's a whole complete unit, not a piece together, you know, whatever. So that's pretty cool. So let's see here. We're gonna need our mounting plate. It comes with obviously all your instructions, a cutout template in case you want to flush mount it in a boat. We're not doing that today. And then a second box in here with all our cables. This also did come with a transducer for in a boat. I didn't necessarily, boy, it's kind of a bugger to get out of here. I didn't necessarily need the transducer for in the boat. You never know, maybe I'll use it one day, but I looked to buy just the head unit, just the bare head unit, and then you had to buy your black box and the LVS 34 transducer, and it ended up being the same price. So it really didn't make sense to not get it with all your cables and the transducer. That would have been just kind of silly, at least from what I was seeing when I purchased this stuff. So yeah, here's our box with everything else in it. So the first thing we're going to need, we're not going to tear into everything and make a big mess, but we're going to need our mounting plate here for our head unit on the shuttle. So go ahead and dig that out. Comes with a quick disconnect plate here, like all Garmin's do, or at least these do. So go ahead and we'll remove this piece here from the bracket, so we can mount the bracket onto the base. Now, this is supposed to have all the holes here are supposed to be drilled to fit, or the bolt hole pattern, I should say, should be correct. So should make it nice and easy. And there's a bunch of options here to mount it forward and back. I'm gonna try to just kind of shoot for the middle, I think. And we'll see kind of what that ends up looking like. Can always move it around later, but that's what I'm gonna try. Get this guy off here, maybe. There we go. We'll set him off to the side. Kind of set this off to the side, and yeah, let's go ahead and we'll get our hardware out and get this guy mounted up here. All right, so one thing that it does note here, we'll go ahead and rip into our hardware bag. The instructions, well, there aren't any for any of this stuff from HDI. There are instructions, which I actually don't mind. I'm not very great with reading. If it doesn't have pictures, I probably don't really care. But all their instructions are YouTube videos, which is only 2 videos he's got out now. One on setting this up and one on the pole itself and how that works and what adapters you need depending on head unit and all that kind of thing. So we've got a whole handful of hardware here, and it does say on that video, or he does say in the video, to make sure you run your hardware all facing up. So in other words, your little screws here or bolts, I should say, come up from the bottom. So that way the ends of the bolts don't have a chance to rub against your lithium battery, and well, that's obviously would be bad. So again, the other cool thing is this is supposed to just have these little quick release screws here to get into your battery compartment, which I really like. Makes it easy to access everything, to change out a battery if a person so wanted to, or to, I don't know, if you were to have a fuse go bad or something pop, you can easily get in there to replace your fuse. So that's kind of nice. So yeah, this just hinges open. Kind of first look inside here. Set these guys, these are nice, looks like whatever, nice thumb screws. They're not plastic, they're all, looks like aluminum thumb screws. But I will say that this wire harness in here looks awesome. So it's all nice and tight. In other words, there's not a bunch of extra loose wiring hanging all over. They all have watertight, not watertight, but water resistant little caps on there. Yeah, looks really good in here. Looks really, really clean and professionally put together, that's for sure. So let's go ahead and get our bracket here installed. So again, there's a whole bunch of different mounting options. I don't know if you guys can see all them holes, but you can have it all over the place as far as forward to back. You need to leave enough room so your screen will tilt in here. And also, by the time you wrap up all your transducer cord, it's going to get, you know, kind of thick in this area. So I'm just going to kind of put it in the middle, and we'll go with that for now. I kind of want to keep it as close to the handle as I can, I guess, for balancing purposes. If we kind of line up where this is going to go, roughly, yeah, that looks good. We'll just go in the middle. So then we're going to go ahead and grab 4 of these screws here. And then it's got the washers as well. There's 2 different sizes here. Yeah. Well, all these are the same. All the machine screws are the same length. So that makes that easy to figure out. And then it's got 2 different size washers. I assume, depending on what plate you have, if the washers will be in kind of a countersunk or if they're flat. Or if the plate is flat. The plate for this one is flat. So we won't need to be countersinking them in anywhere, so I'm going to use the large washers. Oh, and the other thing is I believe that these are stainless. This is stainless hardware here. So you're gonna wanna put some sort of lubricant on these threads, whether that, some guys even just use chapstick, oil. I'm gonna put just a little bit of anti-seize, and the reason is anytime you're using stainless hardware, especially when it's got a nylock like these little nuts do, you run the risk of them galling on there and locking on before they're tight, and that is a big pain in the butt because now you're trying to cut them off and that just sucks. So I'm gonna go grab a little tube of anti-seize and I'll be right back with you. All right, so I just use this, it comes in like a glue stick looking deal. Just a tiny, tiny little bit is all you need. This stuff is like the worst stuff ever. You get it anywhere and it ends up everywhere. So just a tiny little bit, and we'll go ahead and put it on 4 of these. And I should know, whatever it gets on, it never comes off. It's, yeah. But you need it, so. There we go. Just a little bit goes a long way. And then I also went ahead while I was in the shop and grabbed, it takes a 5/16 socket for these nuts. Now it does come with this little junk wrench here and this tiny little screwdriver. Now I probably will use the screwdriver to hold the backside just because you have to be inside the shuttle itself. But that little wrench, I mean, it'll work if you have to, but if you've got real tools, why not use them, right? So let's go ahead and get this guy bolted into place. All right, so we got our bracket mounted onto the shuttle. A couple little things with that, just something to note, is this dinky little screwdriver they send with, trash. Absolute worthless. Don't use it. It's junk. Get yourself a nice stubby regular number 2 Phillips. Fits right up in there so you can actually get these screws tight, because otherwise you just can't grip that tiny little screwdriver in there. And then again, I just ran a regular 5/16 on a quarter drive ratchet. Use whatever you have. Again, these tools they send would work, but I recommend getting yourself some real tools if you're doing stuff like this. So, the only other complaint, again, not a big deal. Just nitpicky so you guys know what to expect. The screws they send with, these machine screws, for at least the 106 SV Garmin are, and for the bracket they have, are like over an inch, inch and a quarter too long, so they just stick way up. No big deal. Once I know this is where I'm gonna want this bracket in the shuttle, I'm gonna go ahead and cut them off and clean them up, file them down so there's no sharp edges, but I don't wanna do that yet until I know for sure this is the spacing I'm gonna want on here. So, but right at the end, once everything else is done and I can make sure it's how I want it, we will be snipping them off. So no big deal, just something to keep in mind. The next thing we're gonna do is go ahead and open up the transducer box and mount our black box to the back of the unit. So let's go ahead and tear into that and we'll get that mounted up. Let's see. Again, haven't opened any of this stuff up yet, so. Okay, that's just cardboard. Put that, apply the other cardboard. And here is our black box. So this black box is, if you guys are new to this like I am, this black box is fairly heavy. I can see how by the time this whole system is put together, it's gonna be fairly heavy. I'm gonna be curious to see a weight. Not that it really matters, it's just what you deal with when you run live scope, but I'm gonna be curious just to see, and just so you guys have an idea. You know, because this is an I should have said this in the beginning. This is an all plastic. They've got a fancy name for the type of plastic, but at the end of the day, it's plastic. Versus there's others that are aluminum. Now I will say the edges and everything are cleaned up really nice. I mean, it's, so far I'm super impressed, very happy with it. But we'll see, you know, as time goes on. I know one of the other brands, Summit, I looked into them. I didn't particularly love how they looked like they were put together. It almost looked like it was put together like a jigsaw puzzle or like Lincoln Logs, how everything fit in. This is all nice, clean edges and screwed together, so I don't know. I've seen videos where guys take the Summit ones and chuck them at the ground and drive on them with cars and stomp on them. Well, I'm not doing that with mine because this is mine and I don't want to try to wreck it. So, yeah. Anyway, so the black box here gets mounted to the back, and that's supposed to help with the balance. One big complaint with the regular Garmin shuttle from Garmin you can get is they're really front heavy. The handle's in the back, all the weight hangs off the front, and the thing is apparently awkward to carry. And this is supposed to be way better for that. So Our ports here will face up. We'll just mount it right to the back. So we'll grab 4 more of our machine screws, get a little bit of anti-seize put on them, and we'll get this guy mounted right to the back. All right, there we go. So that's everything bolted on to it. The next step is going to be to get the battery installed and actually start running all of our wiring. But let me get you guys a close-up view of what it's looking like right now. All right, so we've got our bracket mounted to the shuttle, kind of in the middle position, maybe middle to the back. You can see 2 holes, or 4 holes, I should say, here. So that's kind of the spacing I went with. Again, you can see how long these machine screws are. I'm gonna end up snipping them guys off. It's got the black box mounted to the back with the ports up. This one is a whisker longer than the others because of the battery compartment. Again, no huge deal. I might clip that one off, might not. It's not gonna get in the way. The bag that I plan to get shouldn't rub against it, so not a huge deal. All right, so the next step in this process here is to go ahead and install the battery into the shuttle here. So I went with, again, the Amped Outdoors 32 amp hour lithium. This is the NMC battery. So we'll go ahead and install that, see how it fits. So let's see, the only thing I did do is I opened this and charged the battery. I read the instructions and it said they're only shipped with less than 30%, it says. So I did go ahead and take this out of the box and charge it up already, so it was ready to rock and roll for us, but set that off to the side. All right, let's see here. So it comes with a pretty nice battery strap. Let me get you in a little closer. All right, so now we'll go ahead and we'll get our battery installed. So I've already got the connectors hooked up to the battery here. And we got to try to fish it in here. Now there's multiple different holes you can move this battery strap forward and backward. I'm not sure which one we're going to need. I did move the strap back 1 hole, so we'll see how that looks, if we need to kind of adjust it from there or not. So let's see here. I know it's kind of hard for you guys to see, but I'm sure you can, probably get the idea of what's going on here. We're just trying to put the battery in the compartment. Which is proving that it might be a little bit difficult, but we'll get her in there. There we go. Let's see here now if this looks to be correct. It doesn't really want to sit in here. Oh, there we go. I think this little strap is in the way. There we go. I guess you just kind of got to wiggle it around until it goes in there. And somehow get all the Velcro and everything to cinch down on it. I wish it would stay over. Well, I suppose once the door is shut a little bit, maybe it will. Yeah, there we go. The wires were just wanting to pull it this direction, so. All right, now we gotta try to get our Velcro tight. I'll get you guys a good look at how it fits in here. So it actually fits in really nice. I did, like I said, I moved the strap back. I know it's hard to see in here, but I moved it back 1 hole, and that seems to be about perfect. So we'll move on to the next step. All right, now the next thing we're gonna go ahead and do is start installing all our other cables and our network cable and power cables. So the first thing it says to do, or the instructional video says to do, is install the network cable. Now this appears to be a slightly different networking cable than was shown in the video for this particular unit. So you've got your short network cable that'll actually plug into the back side of the head unit here. And then you also need this extension cable, and this is what will connect from this cable to the black box. So it'd be kind of nice if this cable here, because it's only, a foot, maybe 18 inches long, would go right from your black box to the back of your head unit. But unfortunately, it doesn't have the right end. It's got a male end, and it's also a male end that comes out of the black box. So we need the extension cable, because it has 2 of the female thread-in portions, to go in between the 2. So Kind of goofy they did it that way in this application, but that's just the way it is. So we're gonna go ahead and install that next. So the first thing we're gonna do is see how much length of wire we need, and we're gonna have this all wrapped up small and tight enough to all fit in this compartment, which I don't think should be too big of a deal. However, there are 2 other large power cables we need to fit in there as well, but we'll try to make it as nice and tidy as possible. So go ahead and pull our twist ties off here, and I'm gonna feed one end up through the hole here. And this will connect into our black box. So this will go into the network portion of the black box here, which is the middle connection. So go ahead and get that in, making sure we have our little rubber O-ring in there, and we do, little red O-ring. We'll get that guy put on there. Okay, and then the next one we will need is going to be the cable that'll actually go into the back of the head unit. So that one is, we'll probably just route from the top down, like this. Let me get you guys in a little closer. All right, again, so we've got one end hooked into the middle port here of the black box. And then this end, that has this style connector, this is the one that will actually go into the back of the main head unit. So we will go ahead and connect that to the other side of our networking cable. Trying to keep everything routed really nice here to not have any kind of mess. Got to line up the pins here. Oh, making sure we have our little O-ring. And yep, the O-ring is in there. Tighten that down. And then we'll wrap this back up, and I'm just going to reuse the ties that the factory came with. I am going to try to tighten this up a little bit just to save space in here. We need to make sure we have enough room, which that should be more than enough room. Just tie this up really nice, and we'll put a couple of our twist ties back on and tuck it in there. I don't want to put too tight of loops in here because I don't want to risk damaging this cable. All right, we're going to start by routing the cord that is for the black box. So go ahead and get that twist tie off here. Just going to go ahead and route it up through the bottom. This is a pretty stiff, heavy-duty cord here, I'll say that. This guy might be a little more difficult to get routed properly. Kind of come up through the bottom here and down, and so this is the one furthest away from you guys here. Making sure we have our little O-ring. We do. And putting that guy in. Okay. Then they came with it comes with these really cool, I forget the name of them right now. Wago quick flip connectors here, quick connects. So they just simply take, and they're labeled. So this one says sonar positive, and it's a green wire. I don't know why they couldn't stick with red, but it's green. So we'll plug that guy into here. Carefully, not to break it, putting it all the way in and clipping it down. Boy, that's about as easy as it gets there for sure. Might have to get some of these for the shop, to be honest with you. These are nice. And then the black one goes to the negative here, sonar negative. We'll clip that in, give it a little tug, perfect. So that's in there nice. We'll wrap this cord up. Try to cinch it up just a little bit tighter here. Or roll it up a little tighter, I should say, so it fits in here. This one I'm not as worried about because it's just power wires running through. Go ahead and throw our twist ties back on. Oh, there's one more here we could probably get in the mix, I guess. I will say there's a lot of stuff packed in this case, which again, I like. I'm not complaining. It's nice, small form factor and everything. So it's good. You just have to be organized so it all fits. So that's this guy, and we'll tuck that in right next to our networking cable here. It actually fits really nice, kind of wound up and tucked against the side. It actually is looking pretty nice. When I get it all in here, I'll show you how I did it. Not saying it's the absolute best way, but it seems to be working pretty well. So the next and final cord we got to pack in here is this guy here, and this is the power cable for our actual Garmin unit. The head unit, I should say. So again, we'll go ahead, untwist tie this. And this is the first time I'm doing this again, guys. I have not, you know, I've installed a lot of electronics, but never into a Shuttle or a Garmin live scope like this. So this is pretty darn straightforward and simple. All right, we'll route this up. Same deal. There's another spot allowed in these connectors for your wires. So we'll go ahead and grab our red wire and install that into the sonar positive. Clip it down, give it a little tug, make sure it's in there. And then same thing with sonar negative. We'll go ahead and take our black wire and clip that into here. Clip it down, give it a little pull, good to go. The only thing to note, and just I like to bring backup spare stuff, is this takes a glass barrel style fuse, which I'm kind of surprised, honestly. But I want to see what amp fuse this takes, so I can make sure. I'm gonna get a little bag and put a few extra fuses, and I'll just probably tape it to the inside of my case here, or my Shuttle I should say, so I know I've got backup fuses. So this is a 8 amp, right? Yeah, kind of hard to read. An 8 amp regular length glass barrel style fuse. So now we know for that. So we need some of the mini fuses, blade fuses, and that. So we'll go ahead and tie this up nice. Making sure we leave enough length here. Again, trying to keep everything somewhat organized as we can. And throw our twist connectors back on here, our little twist ties. And we'll tuck that back in the case. And that should be all the wiring we need to do inside this case. So again, pretty darn easy. All right, so there we go. We got everything nice and tucked inside here. Again, the one thing I will say is you saw everything stacked really nice against this edge. I did have to lay everything down flat in the bottom of the Shuttle here so that the switch panel, the wires had room for the switch panel to close. No big deal, just so you know, if you go to do this on this HDI Shuttle, that you lay all your stuff in flat. It'd almost be easier if a guy didn't care what it looked like and you just crammed all the wires in there and slammed them to the back and called it a day. But I don't know about you guys, but I like stuff looking nice and neat if I ever have to go back in here. So everything's in, should be good to go there. Now we're gonna go ahead and install the transducer onto the transducer cable bracket here. You can wrap all the cord. Before we put the head unit on, I just think it'll make it a little easier. So transducer comes with this little box right here. And again, this is the LVS 34. So the newer transducer here. I'm just gonna go ahead and leave the plastic bag on the end for now, because why not? Take our little twist ties off. And we'll go ahead and get it all installed here. We won't need the twist ties again for this because we're gonna wrap it around this guy here. So far everything's looking real nice. I really don't have any complaints. I'm really happy with how everything looks. Again, it's a very tight fit. You could probably get away with not even using the battery tie-down strap because it's so tight in there that battery can't go anywhere anyway, but of course we did, but you probably wouldn't have to. So first thing we're gonna do is hook up the transducer cable onto the black box here. Making sure we line up our tab. We've got our little O-ring. Being real careful because there's about 150,000 little pins. Plugging her in real nice here. Tighten down the little collar. All right, now we're just gonna nicely start wrapping it on here. I'm not sure, kind of want to work with the memory of of the cable. So we're just going to kind of start like this. I don't want to go too tight and put too much of a bend in this cable here, but I think this is looking pretty good. Try to kind of wrap it up nice. Trying to do this without making a big mess of it. All right, all in all, not looking too bad. I'd say it actually turned out pretty good. It's a little messy, but it is what it is. I think we'll go ahead now and install our pole holders here. Might as well get that part done. So these just have this little, if you're familiar with AR-15 M-LOK, or I guess M-LOK in general, commonly found on AR-15s, it almost has like an M-LOK style little washer that you slide into, almost what would be comparable to an M-LOK rail. It's not M-LOK, but it's similar if you're familiar with that setup. So that just slides in here. I guess we got on thread a little bit. Maybe. Yep, there we go. Just had to get it lined up. It came with Allen wrenches for this as well. Well, just one Allen wrench bolt right in the middle, so I'm just gonna put them, I don't know, 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch from the ends right now. Once we get this all set up, I will grab the pole from HDI and we'll set it all up, put the transducer on, kind of show you guys that and what that looks like. But for right now, we'll just put these on any old place. About the same spacing from the ends. Got their little logo facing. Oh, it looks pretty slick, honestly. All right, now let's put the Garmin unit on and power it up for the first time and make sure everything turns on. I'm not gonna go through setup on the Garmin unit. There's a million videos of guys that are more advanced on the exact details of the Garmin unit. But I'll show you powering it up and making sure it works, and hopefully no smoke gets out. So we're just gonna kind of put this in here, set it, I don't know, whatever, kind of angling up. Tighten these knobs down. Taking these little caps off. And clipping the unit on for the first time here. So it just locks into here, and then rocks back. We skipped a step, very important step. We've got to hook up our cables to the back of this. So I'm just going to go ahead and clip the screen on, being I've got it this far already. But yeah. We've got to hook our cables up to the back of the unit here. So go ahead and take this whole thing off. This does look like where I'm going to want it, forward to backward though. Looks like there's enough room, but yet it's tucked in there nice. So we've got, I think, just 2 cords we need to hook up. We need to hook up our power cable. Make sure that guy's in place. There. And then just our networking cable. Make sure it's all lined up. I'm going to kind of keep it at a little bit of an upward angle, I guess. All right, we'll peel the plastic. Ready? Ooh, nice. All right, let's hit our power button and hope everything turns on, no smoke gets out. I'm not sure. Looks like the top one is the power button. It's like our battery has 16.7 volts, which is fully charged for this battery, and we'll hit the power button. Well, she's powering up. Oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't realize the buttons lit up. That looks nice. Awesome. We'll see if our little light works down here. Oh yeah, that's pretty awesome. So this is a UV glow light, so that's pretty sweet. All with these flush mounted switches. It's really nice. This has a, where the USB goes, has a, there's 2 USB ports here, and it has a digital readout of your voltage, so that's pretty cool. Garmin is still booting up here. But that's awesome. Again, I'm not going to go through a full setup on the Garmin. I'm going to go through, set it all up, download that app, Active Captain, update the unit and all that, but there's guys that are better at that than I am, so we'll let them do all that. But I'm just gonna, well, I better go through and do some of the setup here now so it lets me. So we'll get back to you guys and we will put that pole together and get the transducer put on the pole, which I do have one gripe about that pole already that I'll talk to you about. We'll get it all set up, see how it clips on here, and we'll go from there. All right, so we've got the Garmin and all installed onto our HDI shuttle here, and I honestly could not be happier with this. This looks absolutely awesome. The 10-inch screen to me fits perfectly on this shuttle. Yeah, the 12 would be cool, it'd hang out a little bit, no big deal. But the 10-inch looks awesome on here. Now we're gonna go ahead and install the transducer. Again, this is the 34 transducer onto the HDI pole here, the ice. This is their combo kit, the full 24 to 60 inch I decided to go with. So if we're in the ice castle, we have the floor, plus hopefully in Minnesota this year we get a couple feet of ice by the end of the season. I'll have plenty of pole length to get down. I'm also hoping to be able to use this in the boat this summer. If not, or this, you know, this upcoming summer. If not, and I have to get a different boat set up, it'll be what it'll be. I'll worry about that then. So first of all, let's just rip into it here. Now, one thing to note is there are no instructions that come with this. Again, it's all online, and he actually just released the video of how to set up this pole, and the functions and features, what adapters you use, what knobs you use for your different transducer types. You know, if you have the 32 versus the 34 versus the Garmin or Hummingbird, or not Garmin, I'm sorry, the Hummingbird or the Lowrance transducer, he talks about that, which leads me into my, so far anyway, only real gripe about this particular setup here. And honestly, I'm just gonna take, this is the transducer mount, I'm gonna take it off the pole so we can go ahead and get our transducer mounted. So this leads me to my first gripe, and so far my only gripe on this. And it kind of sucks, and I really hope that he makes a change, and in fact, if he sees this video, reach out to me, that'd be sweet. And it comes to these knobs. So these knobs are pretty freaking sweet. Let me show them to you. So these knobs are badass, right? And they are a solid billet aluminum knob. So in other words, these are machined out of a block of aluminum, and they are way better than the knobs that come with these transducers. Let me show you. So here is the knob. It's just black plastic knob that comes with your transducer. So you'd think that being it even brags about it on the actual advertisement, I don't know if you guys will be able to read that, but on the card that comes with this pole setup, that it comes with billet aluminum knobs for your transducer, which is something that if you're changing from down scan to forward facing, you're going to be loosening the knob, making that adjustment on your transducer, tightening that knob up. And these knobs are known to break. They're kind of junk, unfortunately. Here's where my complaint comes in. That's great, and I didn't know this when I bought it, and now I'm kind of annoyed, to be honest with you. So you get a knob here for MegaLive, and as he said in his video, if you're using Garmin, go ahead and put this knob in your sock drawer. So there's my sock drawer, and this fits LVS 32 and something else. If you have LVS 34, which is the brand new transducer from Garmin, their top of the line, best one they got, which is probably what most people are going to be switching over or purchasing, you got to use this one. So you got two nice billet knobs that are engraved or laser etched, whatever it is, in the front, made out of a solid block of aluminum. These cannot be cheap to produce, and you get two of them unless you're running LVS 34. Then you can put them in your sock drawer, as he said. In other words, throw them in the trash, because if you're running LVS 34, you're probably not going to switch back to LVS 32. And if you chose to go Garmin, you're probably not going to go to MegaLive. right? You chose to go Garmin for a reason. So it would be very nice if he sent, either maybe when you ordered it, you could pick which knob you wanted. That would be much better because now I purchased 2 knobs that are worthless for me. So anyway, done with my complaint, done with my rant. Whatever. It is what it is. He did say that the billet aluminum knobs for the LVS 34 will be coming out on their website as available for an additional purchase. I wish I could send them back the 2 I don't need and get the 1 I do, but whatever. I'm over it. So let's go ahead and install the transducer onto this transducer bracket here. All right, so let's go ahead and open up our transducer here. Ooh, nice. Okay, it's got these little lines on it, which are supposed to coincide with the lines on the inside of this guy. So you know when it's facing straight up, it's aligned with your, the white line of the transducer will line up with the middle mark here, and you can rotate it back for forward facing, and that's supposed to set you up at the right angle. So let's go ahead and put our knob in here, our nice plastic knob. I'm seeing though that this doesn't seem to clip in here correctly. Maybe it does. Oh no, I guess it does. It fits all right. It's not a perfect fit, but it's pretty good. So this is supposed to be simple. You just go in from the one side and thread it right onto here. Lining up our marks. We'll just put it in down scan for right now. Doesn't really matter. But there we go. So that's about as easy as it can get. I do like that there isn't an adapter. There's no extra puck you're supposed to put in here. Now this pole does come with this adapter ring here. So if you have other transducers that require the different adapters or the different kind of cogs it lines up into, it will fit nicely with here. But again, we don't need this. And then it also came with these cable clips that hold your cable nicely to the pole to keep your cable in order. If you're kind of sitting more stationary and clip it in nice and kind of keep things nice and clean. So I do like that. So now let's go ahead and install the pole back onto our transducer bracket, I should say, onto the pole. All right, so we'll go ahead. It's got this awesome little D-ring type clip like they pretty much all do. And it's got a nice plastic handle, so we'll just go ahead and fold that guy out. Now, I've seen guys run these 2 different ways. They either run the transducer the same angle as the pole, or as their handle, I should say, or they run it to where the transducer is facing this way. I'm going to do it so as if I'm holding this, I'm aiming the direction I want to be looking. That just makes sense to me. Maybe I'll switch it up and change it in the future, but right now that's kind of what I like. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in like this and put our pin in. And it has it where you can have it any way. So you could have it 90 degrees to your handle if you wanted to. I don't want to, but you could. So let's see here. Line up the holes. And there we go. Nice solid clip in there. So I'm really liking the look of this guy so far. It's really light. Let's see, these adjustment knobs. This is plenty tight. I'm sure everything will break in though. Let's see here. Jeez. If I can make it move. Maybe it's not supposed to move. No, I know it does. Come on. Well, either way, it has quick release in theory. Yeah, and that slides in really nice for your depth adjustment. And again, this goes all the way to 60 inches. So, you know, plenty deep. I do want this collar to move though. I don't know why it won't. The other nice thing about this pole is there's a spring here, so it always retains spring tension. In theory, you shouldn't ever lose this knob because it's always tight. He also mentioned that there's a ball bearing inside here to make it where it rotates really nice and freely and doesn't wear into the pole. We'll see about that, but that's what the claim is anyway. I gotta get the depth collar to move here. Oh, she's plenty snug on there. There we go. I just had to bust it free. So that's pretty nice. These legs fold down. They're made out of some fancy plastic, he said. I don't know. But yeah, there's that setup there. I'm loving it. The other feature about this, let's check out here quick, is it has where the transducer automatically locks into 90 degrees. So the Summit one, the reason I went with this is the Summit one looks like you really got to play with it to get your transducer 90 degrees to the pole. Or I guess you'd call it in line with the pole. This looks super easy. Just loosen this knob and it actually clips up. So you can see you still can move it, but it clips up into here and locks it in position. You can also turn it to do your perspective mode. But mostly it doesn't seem like anybody really uses perspective. I don't know. We'll see. I might play with that, but I do like that it locks down straight down. So you're not sitting there messing with that angle. So let's see how it lines up to actually go in our shuttle here, because that's another thing I really like, is it's all supposed to be integrated and clip in. And the bag that I plan to order from them also fits in where the pole still, these little, the pole holders kind of come out. Turn this so you guys can see better. The pole holders pop out of the top of the bag, so you can still clip it into position. So let's see if we can't get it to line up on there. So it also came with this Velcro strap, I suppose, to keep it on there if you're, have it on your back or you're in your sled and you're ripping across the lake. So it looks like, yes, if you have the feet spaced out just right, let's see how it clips into here. Yeah. Oh, that's really nice. That clips into here solid. Yeah, that you probably wouldn't even need the Velcro, honestly. That might be the best part about this whole shuttle, to be honest with you. And we'll see how it is on the ice, but it clips into there solid. And then you can get your strap around here and Velcro it down. Actually, you could probably go around the tripod here so it doesn't open up on you or something. Oh yeah, well, not quite. All of them but this one maybe? No, not quite. You gotta weave it through here a little bit. The cord's not quite long enough, or the strap. But yeah, you Velcro that guy down, tip your handle down, tighten that. It looks like it sticks out each way about the same. They do sell, HDI does sell a cover for the transducer. I think I'm going to order that when I order the bag. It'd just be nice to be able to cover this and protect it a little bit better. But yeah, this thing is pretty sweet, guys. Now the last thing I said here's a front view of it. That's a pretty badass looking setup, I think. I'm super happy with it. We'll see how it performs out on the ice, when it's actually put to the test and getting used. But the last thing I wanted to do, just for curiosity, we'll even add the cover for this test. Clip the Garmin cover on. Is I do want to get a weight on it. Now, it doesn't really matter. Again, I know that live scope is heavy and clunky. Now, one thing I will say, I'm just noticing with your oh no, you can still get to the handle. Yeah, that ain't bad. It is still weighted forward, I will say that. But what do you expect? You got a battery in the head unit and everything. But let's get a weight on it. I'm just curious to see what it weighs. I've heard other guys online throwing around weights of their setups, so I'm just curious what this weighs. And obviously it's without the bag, that's gonna weigh probably next to nothing, but let's see here. Make sure it's in pounds because that's how we measure things here. And we'll set it on here and let's see what kind of weight we get out of this. I'm guessing like 30-ish pounds. It's fairly heavy. Let's see. Error. Well, that's not right. Let it zero back out. Why is it erroring? All right, I went ahead and grabbed the bathroom scale. Let's see what this says. I turn it on. I don't know if this is gonna work. All right, there we got it turned on. Let's see here. See what it says. 27.4 pounds. That was pretty close with my guess of 30. I don't know if that's heavy or if that's light, but 27.4 pounds is what this bathroom scale is saying this setup weighs. So I don't know. I don't know if that's heavy or light, like I said, but it's interesting if nothing else. All right, guys, so in conclusion, my thoughts are, I think this is a pretty sweet setup. I cannot wait for ice season. Unfortunately, we're seeing a lot more warmer days than I would like. We're at least a month, I would say. Hopefully in November we can get out on the ice, but the weather is going to have to turn pretty quick. But I'm really hoping to get on some early ice. As soon as we can get out on the ice, I will be filming videos for you guys. Keep an eye out for the bag video. As soon as the bag comes, I can order it and it comes in, I am going to do another, it'll probably be a quick little video, but just on my thoughts on that bag, how it fits the whole setup, how it looks, build quality, things like that. But in all, I am super happy with this setup. And hit that subscribe button, stay tuned for future videos, and when we actually get this thing on the ice and test it, we'll see how it holds up. If it falls apart and turns to a pile of crap, I'll definitely let you know. But until next time, you guys have a good one.